Hi guys, Zach here, welcome back to Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing some 2v2 games on the map Super Bridgehead. In this game I'm starting in the top right, playing as the Allies. And I've been picking random teams, so it's just a random selection of whatever I get. And I've got about 3 games in this, and it's just a little bit different. It's more rushy games, and it's just how to, well, basically see how I deal with them using different strategies. We've got Nose starting in the bottom right, and he's the guy I'm going to be playing in each of these games. Now, I'm in the top right and bottom right. I'd say the positions are fairly equal. I'd say the top right is better from a defensive standpoint because you've got 2 narrow spots which the other team can put tanks through. Whereas the bottom of the map, although it's not as good defensively, it does have more gems, I guess, near the first ore refinery placement. So you do get that added benefit there. It helps you get tanks out a little bit quicker. Anyway, we're going to see how these games go, and I'm doing a typical start. I've got my first war factory out. I'm going to go for 2 ore trucks before building tanks. I'm going to go for light tanks as well, because that's what my opponent is going to be doing, I presume. And I'm going to be going straight for my second war factory before I build my second ore refinery. And you can see here, Nose is building. It's got some infantry up, but I've got those infantry defending the gaps. And now I'm going to be I've got my second war factory out, and I'm going to need to redirect that ore truck to make sure it's going off the bottom ore patch. So there I've got my second ore truck, and now I'll be producing tanks. And what we're going to be aiming to do is we're going to be aiming to do that second ore refinery replacement. I actually do make a little bit of a mistake here with my ore truck. We can see he's got his infantry coming up. And you can see that infantry's managed to get past those troops. So that's why I'm building some more infantry. And then I noticed that my ore truck has stopped mining there. So not ideal. And now I've got that first ore refinery out on that ore patch. So I'm building a power plant just to keep my power up. And I'm going to be building that third war factory. And I've got those ore trucks which I'm bringing to the top. But then I noticed that Nose is coming in with light tanks, so I'm going to have to bring my tanks down, and they're a bit out of position. So we've managed to let him through the gap, and that's bad because he's into our base now, and we're trying to take them out if we can. Now we'll have to see what does he go for. First he's going for the construction yard, which is quite a common thing to go for. So we're going to try and repair that and just defend as much as we can. But you can see he's bringing more light tanks into the base, and it looks like we're going to lose it, and we do. Now he's going to go for the ore refinery, so that's quite common. Really what tends to happen is people take out your construction yard and they either go for the power or they go for the ore refineries, because once your ore refineries are destroyed, you can't build any, well, you're going to run out of ore and you're not going to be able to build much more. But you can see that Nose, he's got quite a decent tank mass at the moment, and this is really bad for us, and it doesn't look like we're going to be able to defend this. We have got tanks going to his base, but we have to wait for them to get there. And yeah, you can see he's just got too many tanks here, and you can see my tanks have arrived to his base, but it's pretty much over, so all I can do now is just destroy as soon as possible and hope for the best, but it looks like I'm out of the game. So that was inevitable. What happened is I got my tanks a bit out of position when I was chasing that infantry guy. His tanks got in. I also made some mistakes at the start of the game, like letting that infantry guy past, but I also had that ore truck that wasn't mining anything for a little while as well. And you can see my teammate there is going to, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to do anything now because Nose is joining his base. You can see he's going for the ore refineries first this time, and it does look like they're going to go down. He did have a good economy, my teammate, but those ore refineries are going to go down, and we'll have to see. Now he's going to go for the construction yard, and you can see it looks like it's going to go down. It just does. Yeah, he had a few tanks left, but he had a few more tanks coming in, and now knows is going to pull back, probably because he doesn't have enough tanks to take it all out at the start. But you can see now, and what Red might try and do now is go for an attack on Nose, because Nose does not have a construction yard, so any buildings he did lose, he wouldn't be able to rebuild. But you can see basically my teammate now, he can't build another ore refinery, and you can see Cyan is going on the attack, and it looks like my teammate's going to go on the attack, but I don't think he's going to be able to do much because it's just they've both got production, so they're going to be building more tanks, whereas he's just going to be losing tanks and not going to be able to replace. And you can see him going for that second construction yard that Cyan had built, but unfortunately his base is going to be getting destroyed, and Nose has called good game, and it's over. So that was the first game, which, yeah, we lost there. I made a few mistakes at the start, got defeated, and there wasn't really anything my teammate could do in the second part of the game. So in this next game, I'm again playing as the Allies. And we're going to use slightly different tactics this game, although the start of the match is going to be very, very similar. I'm going to be building that barracks. This time though, what I'm planning on doing is not letting any infantry through, and I'm also going to hopefully get a bit better with the management of ore trucks and not have an ore truck just sitting there for part of the start of the game. So you can see me sending these infantry down to the bottom side of the map. We're going to be placing our ore refinery at the same place again, building an ore silo and getting that war factory out straight away. I'm going to wonder if he does. Yeah, you can see those infantry going up, and you see we've got a few more infantry on the right side this time to hopefully prevent any infantry from sneaking through. And you can see Nose now pulling some infantry back as soon as he sees I've got some infantry scouts going to the south. We're going to change the placement of this first war factory a little bit, and that's just so those ore trucks do go to the bottom ore patch straight away. And you can see we destroyed one of the infantry trying to get through at the bottom gap. And you can see this gap to the right of my base is pretty well defended, so he's not going to get any extra visibility, so he's not going to know where my tanks are within my base. And you can see there was a few infantry there, so I lost those scouts. And we've also got a crate in our base, so we'll be getting an infantry just to go for that, because sometimes these crates can be really good. And we'll have to see what this one gives us, and it just gives us more infantry, so better than it blowing up, but it's not going to make a great deal of difference. And now we're just building that second ore refinery, which we're going to place on that second ore patch. Now what we're going to do this time is we're not going to go straight to that third war factory, which is what we did last game, even though it could work potentially because we're going to have our tanks in a better position. But we're going to go for a few pillboxes and scatter them throughout my base. And you can see a light tank's actually broke through. He's gone through the other gap. He's going to see that I've got a pillbox there. Although pillboxes don't do a great deal of damage to tanks, but in numbers they can if they're light tanks. And we'll have to see where he's deciding to go this time and where he decides to attack from. And we can see his tanks going for the right side of my base. So I'm going to have to bring my tanks right back to that gap really, really quickly. And we'll manage to get them there. So it's going to be a lot harder for him to break through. And you can see he's decided to pull back. He's thought he'll be back. Because sometimes it's a bad idea if you try to go through a narrow spot. So what we're doing is we're just blocking these two spots, because you can see now he's going for the bottom spot at the bottom of my base. So he's not going to be able to get through there either. And you can see we've got quite a good defence array of pillboxes there. So hopefully that will defend us pretty well. And you can see those tanks he's got them sort of grouped up there. And you can see my teammate is in a bit of trouble. So that's my teammate is going to be losing this quite quickly, and this looks really bad for me at the moment. So we've got quite a good tank number though. We've got that third war factory out now, and we're going to be making 2 ore trucks. Now what we have to be doing is we have to be careful here, because Nose is probably building more tanks. I'm going to have to be careful because I don't want to lose my tanks and let him through. But you can see my tank numbers are starting to fall, and Nose does have the advantage in terms of tank numbers right at the moment. But now that I've got my third war factory out and my 2 ore trucks out, my tank numbers are starting to build up. So we'll have to see how this goes. Can I hold on? You can see Nose is starting to push through that little gap, and he's starting to get into my base, and we'll have to see what does he go for. He's going to go for that ore refinery, the same as last. I guess it's a little bit different. He's going for the ore refinery first. I think he went for the construction yard first last time, but now I think he'll probably go for the construction yard if he can. But we do have a lot of pillboxes there. We can see he's got a decent tank number though, and he's going to the top of my base, and he does go for the construction yard. So we're going to try and repair that ASAP, but he does get it down. We'll have to see what he goes for next. But we can see a lot of his tanks are on low HP. He's going for that barracks. Quite a strange choice there, I guess. But you can see he's starting to pull back, realising that I've got good tank numbers and he's got a lot on low HP. So we'll have to see how this pans out. And he's getting some reinforcements in, so you can see some of those tanks are on better HP, and I'm trying to get my tanks through that gap because they're in a bit of a tricky position at the moment, because he's sort of guarding that bottleneck, which makes it hard for me to get these tanks out. But you can see I've got them out now, and hopefully the fight will start to turn in my favour. And you can see, because he's lost a lot of tanks on that attack, I've got the better tank numbers right at this minute, and you can see his tank numbers are starting to fall. We started to manage to take out those light tanks, and he's starting to switch to mediums. And medium's probably a very good choice at this point, because he's seen that I've got pillboxes in my base, and what those medium tanks do is they have more HP, so they can withstand a bit of pillbox fire a lot better. But you can see he's sending 3 tanks out, and you can see yellow is also in my base because my teammate got defeated. So I'm going to see what damage I can do to Nose in the meantime, just to see how this, because I think I'm in a much better position than Nose. I do think if he hadn't had that teammate, I think I could have probably won this by the looks of it. You can see I managed to destroy the third war factory. I'm going for that second ore war factory that's going to go down. So that goes down as well. And then I go for the construction yard, which is going to be further down his base. And I can actually see he's moved his construction yard a little bit at the start, and that also goes down. So yeah, I do think if I'd been one-on-one here, I would have won that. But it was a 2v2 match, and my strategy was more for the long game, which didn't bode too well because my teammate got defeated there. So now we're going into a third game, and this time I'm actually playing as the Soviets. So this one's a little bit different, and there's a range of things you can do as Soviets. I mean, you can build a Tesla coil, you can go for a big infantry push at the start. I'm probably not going to go for the infantry as such. What I'm probably going to actually try and do is I'm not going to go for a defensive strategy, because that's what I've been doing the last 2 games. And if my teammate gets destroyed, that's it. These games actually were quite fun quite a while ago, because we've got B Dizzle here, who's probably played quite a lot since this game was played. And now we're sending these infantry down. And now we have to remember that Nose doesn't know that I'm playing as a Soviet, so he's not going to know what to expect, because I was picking random teams. So he knows I could be Soviets, but he also knows I could be allies. And now you can see we're getting our infantry further down. We're going a little bit more aggressive, and you can see he's again bringing those infantry around that point. So I've got my infantry waiting for him at the key points where I know he's going to be scouting. And he doesn't seem to have scouted quite as much this game, so I don't know if he's playing a little bit differently. And we're getting that war factory out. But what we're doing is we're only building 1 ore truck, so we're going to be getting those heavy tanks out a little bit faster. And as soon as we get those heavy tanks out, we're going to go for his base. Because when you build 1 ore truck, you can still maintain like 2 war factory production. I'll be able to do that with the strategy I'm doing. But what's going to happen is I'm going to get onto that 3rd war factory a lot slower. And because I'm going to get that onto that 3rd war factory a lot slower, I'm going to need to make sure I make use of the tanks I have early in the game as much as possible. So now you see we've got our tanks out and we're going to be going down the map straight away. And we'll have to see what Nose has got here. You can see he's got some infantry there guarding the point, and we're destroying Nose straight away. And we're just bringing our forces down and putting as much pressure as we can on those infantry. And you can see he's got one light tank there, but heavy tanks are stronger. And we can see there's a large power plant there, which we're going to destroy because we've got a few infantry around, and we may as well destroy it, slow his build order down, because he's going to have to rebuild that power now. And you can see we're just going to pull back there a little bit and build our second ore refinery. And you can see we're building a third ore refinery now because it's a little bit of a bit different build order because of what the strategy we've gone for. But you can see we've got a good number of heavy tanks there, and you can see Nose is trying to dive into my base, but that's a bad idea because I'm already at his base. So it's not really going to work because I'm going to be able to destroy his base before he's going to be able to destroy mine. And you can see we're just snow plowing through his base at the moment. We've already got, I think, rid of basically 2 of his war factories before he's even got to my base. So he's going to be sending no tank reinforcements in there. And now we're taking out the ore refinery, and that goes down. And now we're going to go for that barracks and that power plant. And you can see that this hasn't worked out at all for Nose. He's gone for the same strategy as last time, and it hasn't quite worked out. And you can see that war factory is going to go down, and we're going to keep my construction yard. I do, and he is out of the game. So that was just a bit of a... Well, it was a tank rush with Soviets. Usually Soviets aren't known for doing tank rushes, but in this case it worked. Because I think Nose went for the second ore truck. I didn't. I only went for one ore truck, and it paid off in this game. You can see I'm down to 1 war factory now. I've still got a couple of ore refineries. We're going to need to see what Nose's teammate has. Does he have anything like surprising number of tanks? I don't know him didn't recognise the name, so we'll have to see how he is. So we're going now advance to his base, and it's a light tank attack. But we can see from the numbers, I don't think he has enough. I think I've got more heavy tanks there, and this is going to be a bit of a steamroll, I think, in this game. Because you can see those tanks are being taken out. He just doesn't have the tanks to defend. You can see he's also transitioning into mediums, but it's not going to matter in this game. And now you can see me getting that second war factory out again. And you can see my teammate is coming to help now with his sort of his heavy tanks and his infantry. And it's going to be game over for Cyan because you can see he just doesn't have the defences, and we're managing to take out those buildings. Yeah, no matter what Cyan does at this point, it is good game. And you can just see we're just taking out all his buildings, going through. I think he's actually gone AFK now because you can see he's not really moving around anymore. So we're just going to destroy those last 2 buildings. So this was a little bit of a different video. Usually I don't post videos with tank rushes in because they just turn into very short games, but I thought I'd do it for a bit of a change and just see some of the different strategies used against it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.